Have you ever wondered why, in 2025, with all our tech, our satellites, our pocket-sized supercomputers, so many people are still left in the dark? We can get a pizza delivered by a drone, but millions can't read. Is that just a coincidence? A cosmic oopsie? Or is it a plan? Is someone somewhere actively flipping the off switch on knowledge for entire populations? Because let's be real, when people are uninformed, they're easier to control. When they're uneducated, they're easier to exploit. Ignorance isn't just a lack of information, it can be a weapon used by the powerful to stay powerful. It's the oldest trick in the book. Think about it. History is filled with examples of information gatekeeping. For centuries in medieval Europe, the Bible was only available in Latin. The average person couldn't read it, so they had to rely on the church to tell them what God wanted. This gave the clergy immense power over everyone's lives, from kings to peasants. They were the exclusive interpreters of the ultimate truth, and you had to go through them. It was a brilliant system for maintaining control. You couldn't just read the scripture yourself and say, hey, wait a minute, I don't think Jesus was cool with charging me a fee to forgive my sins. You were stuck. Fast forward a few hundred years to the Ottoman Empire. The printing press, a game-changing invention, was revolutionizing Europe in the 1400s. But the Ottomans? They banned it for nearly 300 years. Why? The official reason was to protect the sanctity of the Arabic script and the jobs of scribes. But the real reason was control. The Sultan and the religious elite knew that mass-produced books would spread new ideas, dangerous ideas about science, philosophy, and politics. By keeping information scarce and expensive, they kept their grip on power tight. It wasn't an accident, it was a deliberate strategy to stop the free flow of thought. So, when we see similar patterns today, we have to ask ourselves if we're just watching a rerun. The tools have changed, but the game is the same. The goal is to keep you from asking the right questions. Whether it's with a Latin Bible, a banned printing press, or a censored internet, the powerful have always understood a fundamental truth. A well-informed public is the biggest threat to an unjust system. They know that once you have the facts, you start connecting the dots. And once you connect the dots, you start demanding change. Let's look at the modern playbook. It's not always as dramatic as banning a book. Sometimes ignorance is designed into the very systems meant to serve us. Take a look at prisons in many parts of the world, from the United States to Latin America. They are often called correctional facilities, but they don't correct much. They are warehouses of human beings, with terrible education programs and little to no rehabilitation. These institutions are designed to keep people marginalized. An inmate who leaves prison with no new skills or education is far more likely to end up back inside. It's a cycle of powerlessness, and it serves a purpose. It keeps a segment of the population disenfranchised and out of sight. And then you have regimes that are way more blatant about it. Look at the Taliban in Afghanistan. They banned girls from attending secondary school and university. This isn't about tradition, it's a calculated move to cripple half the population. Educated women challenge the status quo. They become doctors, lawyers, leaders, and thinkers. They raise educated children. By denying them education, the Taliban isn't just controlling women, they are attempting to control the future of the entire country, ensuring that it remains locked in a cycle of ignorance and extremism that they can dominate. It's a terrifyingly effective strategy for maintaining absolute power. These aren't isolated incidents. They are part of a broader pattern. When public institutions are weak, it's often by design. Underfunded public schools and poor neighborhoods create a permanent underclass. Complicated legal systems that the average person can't navigate without an expensive lawyer ensure that justice is a luxury. Confusing tax codes filled with loopholes for the rich keep the wealth gap growing. All these things create a fog of complexity and despair. They make people feel like the system is too big and too broken to fight. That feeling, that apathy, is exactly what allows the powerful to operate without accountability. Think about it. Who benefits when you don't understand your rights? Who benefits when you can't read a contract? Who benefits when you are too exhausted from working 3 jobs to follow the news? It's not you. Keeping people uninformed and overwhelmed is a key part of the modern power structure. It's less about burning books and more about flooding the zone with so much noise, misinformation, and daily struggle that you don't have the energy to find the truth. The goal is to make you give up before you even start looking for answers. Now let's zoom out. This isn't just about local governments. The ignorance game goes international. For decades, powerful countries and multinational corporations have benefited from keeping developing nations poor and uneducated. Why? Because it's profitable. If a country has a large, uneducated workforce with no other options, you can pay them pennies to mine coltan for our smartphones or stitch fast fashion for our closets. If a nation's leaders are corrupt and its people are uninformed, it's easier to strike shady deals to extract their oil, timber, and other natural resources for cheap. It's a brutal, simple economic calculation. This isn't just some fringe conspiracy theory. There are proven cases where this has happened. Look at the 1953 coup in Iran. The CIA and British intelligence orchestrated the overthrow of Iran's democratically elected leader, Mohammad Mossadegh. His crime? He wanted to nationalize Iran's oil industry so the profits would benefit the Iranian people, not foreign companies. The public was fed propaganda and misinformation to turn them against their own leader. A similar story played out before the 2003 invasion of Iraq, with false claims about weapons of mass destruction used to justify a war that gave foreign powers immense influence over Iraq's massive oil reserves. Keeping people in the dark works. The strategy is to create dependency. By discouraging investment in education and local industries, powerful external forces can ensure that poorer nations never develop the capacity to process their own resources or build their own high-tech economies. They become permanently stuck as suppliers of raw materials and cheap labor. The World Bank and IMF have even been criticized for imposing policies that force countries to cut spending on public services like education and healthcare in exchange for loans. This traps them in a cycle of debt and underdevelopment, all while their wealth is siphoned off. It's a global system that privatizes profits and socializes ignorance. The benefits go to a small elite, while the costs, a lack of opportunity, poor health, and a devastated environment, are borne by the many. The people in these nations aren't less intelligent or less capable. They are trapped in a structure that was intentionally designed to limit their potential. Their ignorance isn't a personal failing, it is a political and economic asset for someone else. It's the engine of a global machine that runs on inequality. But here's the good news, this isn't a hopeless situation. History also shows us that the most powerful tool for breaking this cycle is education. When nations commit to educating their people, everything can change. Just look at South Korea. After the Korean War, it was one of the poorest countries on earth. But they made a radical bet. They invested massively in education. They built schools, trained teachers, and fostered a culture that valued learning above all else. Today, South Korea is a global economic powerhouse and a leader in technology and innovation. That wasn't an accident. It was a direct result of their commitment to knowledge. Finland is another incredible example. In the 1970s, they had a mediocre school system. So, they reformed it from the ground up. They made education free from preschool through university. They professionalized teaching, making it one of the most respected and selective careers in the country. They focused on equity, ensuring that every child, regardless of their background, had access to a high-quality education. The result? Finland consistently ranks as having one of the best education systems in the world, leading to a stable, prosperous, and highly innovative society. They proved that investing in people is the smartest investment a country can make. These stories show us that ignorance is not a permanent condition, it is a political choice, and we can make a different one. The antidote to planned ignorance is planned enlightenment. This starts with demanding free, high-quality public education for everyone. It means supporting independent journalism and protecting a free press that can hold the powerful accountable. It means fighting for government transparency so we can see how our money is being spent and what deals are being made in our name. We have to build institutions that empower people, not control them. So is the widespread ignorance we see in the world today just bad luck, or is it a deliberate plan to maintain power? The evidence strongly suggests it's often the latter. The real question is, what are we going to do about it? We can't afford to be passive spectators. Support organizations working to expand educational access. Demand that your leaders fight corruption and invest in schools, not just bombs. Be skeptical, ask questions, and read voraciously. Because the fight against ignorance is the fight for freedom itself. It's the fight for a future where power belongs not to the few who hoard knowledge, but to the many who are empowered by it.